This is a practice that you can do anytime that you're feeling triggered or blended or overwhelmed by a certain part of you. So come to a seat, a comfortable seat. You could sit cross-legged or in a chair. You could also lie down on the floor or on a bed if that feels better for you right now. Starting to slow down and turn your attention inside. Just notice your breath as we begin. Does it feel restricted, tight, shallow, or more expansive and open? Doing your best not to judge it or evaluate it in terms of good or bad, but just noticing how this part is breathing your body. And the first step of this process is simply to recognize that you're blended. So what might be helpful is just to take a moment to contemplate or use a mantra of that I am blended right now. There's a part of me that's here that feels like all of me. It's just a part of me, even though it feels like all of me. I'm blended right now. And so as we continue, we'll try to articulate that part a little bit more clearly. So just noticing how it feels in your body, noticing any sensations, temperature, heat, cool. Maybe noticing any activation in your nervous system, or even numbness. What is the quality and texture of the feeling in your body? And then really just start to listen, if you can, to the thoughts that this part is thinking about the situation, about the person who triggered you, or about yourself. Really just giving a microphone for a moment to this part to hear what it thinks. And then noticing if there are any emotions that this part is bringing up. It might be helpful to label and name the emotions or just to feel them. And now we're going to see if this part would be willing to unblend from you just a little bit. And we can do that by inviting this part to take a step back out in front of you, or you can step back from the part just energetically. Just inviting the part to give you a little bit of space inside. And so the part may not be willing to do that. And if that's the case, it's completely all right, totally fine. You could just ask the part what it's concerned about with giving you some space. And just listen for the response. You could also let the part know that we're just unblending, we're differentiating, separating from the part so that we can get to know it a little bit better and see if there's a way that we can support it in getting what it needs. It may also be helpful to take some deeper breaths, just breathing in a little bit more of what we call self energy, which is our connection to all of life, the witnessing, loving witnessing consciousness that we have, inner wisdom. Just taking some breaths to see if you can help that space come online a little bit more, have a little more space. And if the part is not willing, then you can absolutely proceed with this inquiry, just listening to the part blended in your body, inside of you, to the best of your ability. And if the part was able to separate even just 1 millimeter from you, just take a moment and notice how you feel towards this part of you. If there are any parts that have judgment, frustration, anything like that, just see if they'd be willing to soften back so that you can just really be here for the part. And see if you might be able to extend some compassion to the experience that this one is having. And sometimes compassion is really just a feeling energy that you can visualize or feel inside. And sometimes it might look more like some loving words, like, this is really hard. It's hard for me to be having this experience right now. And just notice if the part is able to take that in at all. And then we'll just see if we can get to know this one for another minute here. And you can ask this part, what is its hope for you? This part that was activated. What was it trying to do for you? Or what is its role in your system, or in the relationship, or in the environment? So just listening, the part. If any thinking parts, intellectual parts come in to answer these questions, just see if they would be willing to soften back so you can just listen inside to the part directly. And then you could ask the part, what is it afraid of if it doesn't do what it's doing right now? What is it afraid of for you or concerned about? And then from that self energy, that conscious presence, just see if you can validate those concerns, fears, and desires that this part has. We're not necessarily validating the way this part might make us behave out in the world when we're triggered, but we're really validating and connecting to the core hopes, desires, and fears that this part has underneath, which are really valid. And now see if you're able to ask this part from you, your self energy, just directly asking with curiosity and openness, what do you need from me right now? And the part may know what it needs from you. It may not know, but if it does, just see if that's something you can fulfill inside as we're in this exercise. If your part is asking for a hug, that's something you could go over and do. If the part needs you to have a conversation with a certain person in your life, you can let the part know that you hear that. Maybe it needs more time to slow down or for you to go for a walk. It could really be anything that this part needs. Our goal here is to become a loving, responsible parent for the parts of ourselves so that they can feel securely attached, like we have their back with whatever they need. So let this part know that we're going to leave here in just a moment. We're going to close up this practice. Let the part know that you've heard it, that you're going to fulfill on its requests if it had something specific, and that you appreciate it getting available so you can get to know it. So just sending some gratitude, the energy of gratitude towards this part. And then we'll take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth if you can. And as you let the work go, it may feel good to find your journal, to shake your body or go for a walk, or a variety of other ways that you might choose to care for yourself. So thank you for unblending with me today, and be well.